had to play in. Do you think that's a benefit as you guys approach the postseason of the wild card, since you really are playing some of your best baseball right now?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. We've had years in the past where we've clinched the division pretty early in the season and then gone through some lulls, and there was, I don't want to say panic, but there was some concern about the way we were going about it, playing, like getting ready to go into the playoffs. And obviously that wasn't the case this year. It was meaningful games all the way down to the wire, and the way we responded, the way we played has been fantastic. So certainly think that should bode well going into this playoff game.
And I know that you've talked about just the changes that you've made in your diet, and that you wanted to be an everyday player this year. Having done that, how do you feel about where you're at right now at this point in the season, and just where you're feeling how those changes have really proved to work out?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like I accomplished what I was trying to do for the most part. Other than a couple games in New York, my goal was to be available for Doc to use me every day this year, and I came pretty darn close to doing that.
Go ahead, Dave. How tough is it to lose one seed for this game and moving forward, and how does that change the dynamic of the lineup?
Yeah, obviously he's a cornerstone of our offense, and the bat quality we're certainly going to miss, but we still have a pretty dynamic lineup, and I think the best way to look at it is an opportunity for someone else to step up and take good at-bats for us. So feel terrible for him and what happened, and obviously, he was prepared to be a big part of this postseason run we were going to have, and but he's already texted all the guys and let us know that no matter what he finds out, he's going to be right there with us every game, doing whatever he can to try to help us win, whether that's cheerleading or hanging around the cage or whatever. He's still in it with us, and that won't be lost on us.
When it comes to elimination games, have you seen this core group of guys kind of evolve in maturity and confidence like you saw in Game 7 last year against the Braves?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of postseason experience in our room. So being basically a Game 7 tomorrow, an elimination game, we've had a lot of guys who have been through it before. So that certainly, I think, helps the mentality going into it and knowing what's at stake, and knowing how to prepare, and knowing that you've got to play 27 outs and take advantage of every opportunity you can.
And I know you had some success in Game 4 of 2019 against Max, but what do you remember about facing Scherzer in the playoffs?
Facing Scherzer anytime. It doesn't matter if it's the playoffs or a regular season game. He's one of the best competitors in baseball, and he goes out there year in and year out. Every time he takes the ball with something to prove, and there's nothing different for tomorrow night.
Justin, on that note, when you look at Kershaw and Scherzer, what, in terms of the way they go about things, maybe their mentality, what do you see in common, and maybe what do you see a little bit different?
Yeah, two very similar competitors. They're great guys in the clubhouse and enjoy being around guys and having fun, but when it's start day, you see a whole nother animal, and it's all about business. It's all about going out and competing. And Scherzer's the same way, Kershaw's the same way, and that's kind of how they're so successful. They just know how to lock it in and go out and compete. And once they do their job and their job's over, then they go back to being that fun, exciting goofball teammate that they are for the other 4 days. So very, very similar between the two of them.
Does Scherzer give off that same kind of stay away from me vibe on start day?
Absolutely. I think everyone saw him tell Doc not to touch him on his first start as a Dodger, so we learned fast over here.
Just what have your conversations been like with Clayton in recent days, and how have you digested just knowing that he's probably not going to be with you guys for however long this goes?
Yeah, obviously that's not the way any of us wanted to see him, walk off the mound at Dodger Stadium, knowing, what's in the future, and knowing, very well possibly could have been the last time, hopefully not. But, Kershaw's here, Kershaw's in good spirits, and same as Muncie, he's going to be here with us for the whole ride and doing whatever he can to help us out and cheer us on and try to help us accomplish winning another championship.
Obviously, they saw Max in St. Louis previously. We got saw Wainwright previously as well. Just how valuable is that, seeing that iteration of Wainwright so recently?
Yeah, I think familiarity definitely helps going into these things, but also, the game planning and stuff, I feel like in the playoffs gets a little bit more in depth than for a regular season game. So, again, Wayno's a competitor as well. He wouldn't be doing what he's doing at his age if he wasn't. So, it'll be a challenge for us, and we're going to get prepared like we do for every game and try to put together a game plan to beat him.
Justin, how important was for the offense to pick up at the right time?
Yeah, like I said, it's good to be playing good going into the playoffs and having a good feeling and the offense kind of clicking on all cylinders. Our pitching staff's been great all year. Our starters have been great. The bullpen's, basically carried us all season long. So for the offense over the last, 2-3 weeks to really kind of start finding its stride is certainly more promising than if we were scuffling going into this. So.
They sort of talked about how Corey was locked in last year in October, and sort of how he's looked similar to that this last week or so. When he's locked in like this, sort of what stands out to you about his at-bats?
He's just it's incredible. It's incredible to watch. I mean, I think what separates him from last year in the postseason and what he's doing now to the Corey in the past is, he's staying in the strike zone and he's taking walks. And we saw that in the postseason as well. He took his walks when they didn't throw it over the plate, but when they did, he made you pay.
And where do you feel like your swing is right now? I know you said you're just kind of trying to figure out your timing lately, and it seems like at least on Burns that you've got it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot right now. Things are feeling good.
JT, what's the locker room mood like, and does it change during this time at all?
Honestly, I don't think it changes too much. There's some guys in there playing cards. There's some guys in there trying to make some fantasy football trades right now. So this team's really good about, honing in when it's time to focus and then, spacing out when it's time to space out and let your mind relax. I think, especially postseason baseball, you're playing 3-4 hours out there. It's a mental grind. And you got to be able to, when you're not in that compete mode, you got to be able to, let your mind relax a little bit. Otherwise, it's really tough. So those 3-4 hours you're on the field, it's more of a mental exhaustion after games than it is physical.